Questions of Doom.
Hello and welcome back to another Questions of Doom. In this series, as ever, I attempt to answer questions that you send my way using the archaeosoup@gmail email address as displayed on the channel homepage or indeed at the end of this video. In answering these questions by video, I hope that the answer is not only useful to the person or persons who have asked the question, but also to anyone else out there who may be wondering the same thing. Now, today's question is a bit of a frequently asked question, a bit of an FAQ, and it's actually about the head. People want to know just exactly what this head is and why I have this head. Well, that's quite a long story, but essentially this head and I go back a couple of years, and the head is from a very particular part of the world. A couple of years ago, I was working in the fairly famous Jorvik Viking Centre in York. It's a world-renowned attraction, and you often get random people from different parts of the world banging on the door at closing time saying, "Let us in!" because they've come so many thousands of miles to be abused and otherwise shouted at by Vikings. Now, of course, I'm joking, but actually, you'd be surprised how many people want to be shouted at by Vikings. I was there during a time when they were going through a transitional period. They were modifying their attraction, which actually is built on the site of a very famous excavation called the Coppergate excavation in York, and it's a one-for-one reconstruction for the most part of what they found. So it's actually very interesting archaeologically, and if nothing else. But yes, for a while, part of my job involved dressing up as a Viking, and hence the beard. Actually, I've never really lost the beard. I just quite like having the beard. It makes me feel manly. If you want to see photographic proof, here it is. So there you go. See, I was a Viking. I was Ulrich Hagbard Eriksson Olafsson Thorfinnsson. And crucially, I was there when they decided to modify the attraction. And this head was part of the old attraction. She was called the Fisher Lady because she was holding a piece of fish. And essentially, she was going to be thrown out. So rather nicely, the people there at Jorvik gave me permission to actually, for a while I had her whole body, but her body isn't actually painted, it's just kind of this, or was this sort of fiberglass white thing, but because she had clothes on obviously, and she had a hat and all that kind of thing. But yeah, so I ended up with her head. It freaks the heck out of my wife, my lovely wife, and I know I married the right woman rather, because she allows me to have it in the house. It's just wonderful. Now, I call her Helga, just because I love her, and I think it suits her. Notice she has her sort of bleached blonde hair. Most notably, or most crucially, it's worthwhile pointing out that the hair is bleached blonde because of washing it in urine. Vikings, per se, didn't have blonde hair. Some of the most famous Vikings we know about, in fact, had brown hair. Or sort of like a mousy brown, kind of approaching blonde hair, but not actually blonde per se. That's a later sort of genetic breeding type situation going on in Scandinavia. But this is because, yeah, they're dipping their head in wee, essentially to kill nits. And traders, for example, would end up in Byzantium, and people would go, "Look, you have shockingly blonde hair. I will not ask why. I will just write down that you have blonde hair," and that's really where the myth comes from. But there's the reason why it's so shockingly blonde is because of all the wee going on. Yeah. So yes, that's what the head is. The head comes from the old version of the Jorvik Viking Centre's reconstruction of what was found during the excavation. And I'm lucky enough to have a little piece of archaeological history here in my home. Ah, bless. So yes, Helga is wonderful. And many of you have actually been asking if you can possibly win Helga. Take Helga away from me? No, you cannot. No, Helga is all mine, so I won't be giving her away. As much as my wife would love me to give her away, I will not. So Helga. But nonetheless, hopefully though, you'll be able to see Helga, or the head of all wisdom, in future ArchaeoSoup videos. So keep an eye out, and I'm sure she'll be fairly obvious. But there you go. Frequently asked question, almost nothing to do with archaeology, but you've learned something interesting anyway about Viking hair. And yeah, thanks for asking, everyone. Hopefully this has answered that question finally. So until next time, bye bye.